Traders, welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is September 10th, 2021, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the British pound gaining versus the USD as that is making a turnaround. Now looking at the major economic events of the day, just one event coming out of the United States at 2:30 South African time. It's a monthly PPI number coming out. It is an inflationary number and is important as well. Now looking at the various markets, as mentioned in terms of the Forex symbols, the British pound actually gaining versus the USD. In terms of the indices, the Dow Jones remaining weak while the Nasdaq is pretty much unchanged. In terms of commodities, cold steady as oil is steady as well. And it's a mixed bag when it comes to stocks. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin bouncing off of support. So we're seeing some strength there. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to start here with the Gbp Usd. As you can see, we had a really nice follow-up yesterday, a really nice tear up to 138.60ish level and then tapering off. But it does look like it's changing character and getting much stronger, because when we look at the other symbols versus the USD, we don't see that type of strength. We're looking here at the Aussie USD and the Euro USD, always the one of the weaker ones versus the three. So this is something that's really just with the GBP getting significantly stronger with the dollar. Now looking at it again at 138.46, if we break that upper limit of 138.60ish level, we could surely see it back into the 139ish level. Okay, that is a decent move. And you also have volume, okay, to back this up, which is really very important. When you have this type of volume, this type of move, this is the type of situation where you say, hey, this is real. This is not something that's made up. So this is really where it's very, very important to follow through. Now, looking at the USD Cad, yesterday we continued seeing some weakness in it as the dollar, it capitulated to 120. It did make a correctional move, over the last couple of days, but still it is relatively weak. Now, we do have a unemployment number coming out of Canada. It's not really major news, but it is something that might play itself out in case today. Now looking at gold, we did bounce back to the 1800, so we're still smack in the middle of this two parameters, 1827.26ish level on the upper land and 1780 on the lower land, and we're right in that range and we're smack in the middle of that. Okay, so this is still relatively strong, but not going anywhere. Okay, as long as it doesn't break out of this range, we're going to continue seeing it trade within this range. Now looking at crude oil, also unchanged for the day and just steady. Now looking at the Nasdaq has been relatively strong. 15,688 is the high. We're about 100 points off of that. When we look at the Dow Jones, a decent retracement from week to week. Okay, when we look at the week altogether, we're trading at 35,000. And we're about 500 to 600 points off of our all-time highs. So with that said, okay, I'd like to see some follow-through. So I'd like to see this actually bounce. And it may very well bounce later today, okay? You're looking at the volatility get a little bit wider, okay? If we can highlight that, let's do that for purposes of here. When you see this type of volatility, okay, versus something like this, which is very, very skinny, okay, this is very, very important. Okay, I mean, we're getting spurts of these type of volatility. Does it look like it's going to start selling off? Does it look like we're going to have a bloodbath? And then, we kind of come right back to where we are as we were before. So this is really very, very important as we've been watching this, and this is continuously unfolding in the markets. There's got to be a correlation between the index and the stocks, and right now you're not seeing that so clearly, okay? Because when we do look at the stocks, and especially the high-tech stocks, the Apple's did retrace a little bit yesterday. If we look at Facebook, it's pretty much unchanged. Microsoft did sell off a little bit, and these were our market leaders, so they're just tapering off at these levels, okay, which may be that we will sell off in the next couple of weeks, okay? I'm not saying that we won't, okay, but you just want to wait for it until you get that confirmation. Now looking at the big board stocks, and this is where this disparity is, because I would have expected the Dow Jones to actually bounce. When we look at Alcoa, we're back to our highs. When we look at JP Morgan, we rallied a little bit in the day. So, you're seeing a little bit of a turnaround. Okay, if we look at Boeing also, did bounce yesterday above 213, which was a decent bounce after selling off. 211 was a nice support level on a 1-hour chart, and sure enough, that's exactly what we got. Now, lastly, Bitcoin. Okay, this is where it's getting very, very interesting. It's holding its weight at that bounce at this 46,000. If it can't sustain this level, 46,500, it will trade lower. Don't want to say my hunch guess. I don't like to guess here. But as long as the volume is there, as long as we do have that volume, because we're right in the middle of two parameters, 52,000 on the high end and 40,000 on the low end, and we're right in between those two levels right there. So with that said, okay, I don't like to pick the spots here, but it does look like it's, kind of firming up here at these levels. So to, start building a small, very small position, okay, and then getting that confirmation, maybe we'll get that follow through throughout the day. Okay, my conviction is not tremendously here, okay, because we are in the middle of the RSI. Okay, we're not really oversold here. Okay, but you see that it's firming up here and not selling lower. Okay, so this is something to consider going into today as we consider, what has transpired over the past month and a half or almost 2 months. In July 12, where we were in a low, 29,000, we rallied to 52,000, and now we've retraced about 5,000 points. So that's okay, but I'd like to see that, that follow through on the upside, okay, for us to continue this upwards trend. We may just consolidate in this area, okay, so could be, a couple of things that transpire here. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.